Hello guys, and welcome to the Triumph Tiger update. So now I own this beast for more than 2 years, so this is the third season I'm riding it. I'm already done close to 17,000 kilometers on it. So I think I'll make an update for it and review it again. What happened, what have I changed, what have I done to it compared to my 7,000 review when I owned it for the first year, for the first season. So basically regarding upgrades, there is no changes. I haven't modified anything in performance or rideability. Maybe just a original Triumph box. So overall I'll run quickly through the things I have. So everything original, even the chain, sprockets, everything still the same. I don't maintain my chain that good, but as I see it lasts. It was serviced not long time ago in a Triumph service in Lithuania, and they made a good job, and you see the chain is still viable for this season. So there are only a few upgrades of SV Motec. Original parts on in the Triumph quick shifter, extender for my leg, right? Interesting engine guards, right? So they fit Trident. When I bought this bike in 23, there wasn't a big catalog of parts that you could choose from, so I had to choose from few of them, right? Crash guards, I like these more than the original ones from the Triumph. The bike was never dropped in this time, and I don't think it will be. Well, I guess it will someday. Everyone fall someday, right? So even the exhaust is original. If you want exhaust, there is not much to choose from actually. If you live in Europe and you have Euro 5 exhaust, so you have to resort to the only one manufacturer, it's Zard, and there is a one or maybe two other manufacturers, but I don't think they sound too great, and they're not that good made. So yeah, and these little, I don't know how this called, but maybe fork protectors, yeah, from also SB Motec, and same in the rear alongside bobbins. I think they're kind of useless because I have bobbins right here, so but they're here and they make my chain adjustment a little bit harder, right? And there is a low seat. I think this is the only upgrade or maybe additional accessory I don't like, right? So when I bought it 2 years ago, I rode it for my height is 5.6 or 5.7, or in normal numbers it's 169 centimeters. So this seat is lower than original, so I rode it for 10 days or so and swapped back to normal. But before reviewing it again, I'm riding it for 1 week once more to give it another chance, because she was collecting dust for quite some time, for almost 2 years, right? So I dislike it. They actually cut off all the inner soft materials, but the seat, the problem is for the majority of the short people like me, so it's still wide and you still sit further away, and there is basically no difference, but the comfort is non-existent with it. As you can see, there's nothing over it, right? So even if you struggle with this bike, I don't suggest upgrading or accessorizing the low seat version, because it will basically give you no difference. And just look at the short rider life hacks from some YouTubers, and they will give you a better option than swapping the seat. Don't make by mistake. Right, and then the radiator guard, and that's about it. And it was flawless. Regarding nothing completely broke, nothing was wrong with this bike. I had only the issues with the quick shifter, not shifting exactly from the second to third gear. Sometimes when you accelerate it to about 80% or 70% of the power, sometimes you refuse to doing so, right? But it's sometimes. They reflashed ECU like twice, I think, right? And it's now a lot better. I don't think I have this mistake anymore. But the quick shifter at 23, it was very nice. It was one of the best from this segment that I could buy. Currently, maybe the BMW or Ducati can make a better ones, of course, for this class. This is not a very expensive motorcycle, right? So, but for this class, I think up and down, compared to, I was comparing to a Tracer and not a Honda, I think it was better. And I think still it stands decently well made quick shifter, up and down, and doesn't shake you off and throw you off when even if you like downshift kind of heavily or roughly through it. It just rev matches pretty well, I think. Another thing I kinda dislike is like a throttle mapping. Maybe I will ride it through this parking lot and try showing you what I dislike. Of course, the MT-07, Yamaha XJ6, or some bikes that are learner bikes and they're in the parking lots for like drivers that teach other. They are retuned and they ride at lower RPM and lower speeds. See, little life hack for short legs. Push it, leg, right. The clutch is at the end of it, right? And let's see, right? Shake. Maybe you will see when you don't hold it. Actually, right now, when you see RPM move, it wobbles a little bit in the front and back. And now we're moving a little bit downhill. So maybe this is helping it right now, make it more smoothly. But we go a little bit, like few degrees upwards. Yeah, now you see the RPM moving. Maybe the sun is stopping you from doing that. But yeah, now it shakes. And like doing slow maneuvers around like right here, yeah, now it's uncomfortable to do so. And this doesn't really exist on many bikes on this level. And I think maybe the throttle mapping is a bit off, even though they retuned it. It's not the end of the world, of course, but if you want to practice a slow maneuvers around like those conusses around something, I think the custom map would be needed for it. See, 11 kilometers an hour, some school bikes, I learned it like 6-7 years ago. I don't remember how many years I have the license, right? You ride about at 8 or 9. So moving it at 11 might be a little disadvantage, right? I'm not a professional driver, let me remind you. But I think it can be smoothened out. Also, that 0 to 10% throttle is also a little bit shaky. But what is not shaky is those 3 cylinders accelerating. Because the more beans you give to it, the more happy this bike is. So If you like the street bikes and you want a little bit of more comfort but don't want to look like a sassy guy, you know, on those adventure bikes, and you won't be such a boring guy, the Tiger is a lot more friendly and is a looker, of course. I don't think I will be showing a lot of driving it, because there is a plenty of better riders. You can see the drivers dragging a knee on these bikes, riding track. So definitely, if you're up for a purchase of the new ones, I think you are. Let me just get into. If you're up for a new one, I think you look at about 10, 20 maybe videos before purchasing it, right? So me riding through the city won't change your mind at all, right? So we weren't doing this for a very long time, right? So even the tires are completely stock that I bought it, right? Even I didn't ruin them. I think they're nice. I asked it. The wear is okay, and it's very fine. You don't have to change it right now. Let's try some acceleration. But overall, the 60 kilowatts of power is more than enough for me in this kind of motorcycle, right? And the more beans you give it, the more happy the box is, the more happy the throttling is. Everything is better. And the downshift, like a glove. Perfect. This is how I like it. So the gearbox is smooth and the throttle is smooth. If you go that over 0 to 10% and go over it, so if you are like pushing the handle 15-20% or using like a clutch to smoothen it out. What I like about it, that this motorcycle can be driven just like a car, so 3,000-4,000 RPM, right? And it's smooth. Yeah, even now those 10% of the throttle works fine on 3,000. It doesn't shake, it doesn't wobble. Now on the road it's perfectly fine. So what changed in a few years? They added in 25 version, they added a few colors, 6 cornering, the ABS, the cruise control that is missing right here, 23 model. I think this is the huge upgrade on that. And there is some little bit more of the electronics you could see there going on. It's completely basic. No tire pressure monitors, no phone connection or anything. If you need it, of course, you can buy it. I think I skipped on that option when it was possible. Look in a different direction. But yeah, about the bike, the 25 model of course is a huge upgrade for some, but in a riding perspective, if you need this bike like a transition before a touring motorcycle and a street bike, I think is one of the best options, because it's a competition. I don't see them looking like that. What I dislike about the new one, they didn't upgrade this dash. I think for a name of a Triumph, the price is very, very good, but at 2025, this looking dashboard could be a lot better. It's very informative, very simplistic, and it shows whatever you need. Of course, I will remind you that the 7000 review showed it. What I dislike is this clutch cable, and it's always in the way. I'm not sure how the camera sees it, but it's always my fuel status. I half of the time can't see it correctly because I will need to tape it off. But that's something that I think Triumph could solve with the cable management. Get out from this town. A lot of traffic going on. The 25 upgrade, or a Tiger 800, which I think I will review it later on. I still haven't driven it yet, just touch it in a dealer. I think offer an upgrade of the power and the stopping power, even to the brakes on this, are very good for me as a casual rider. And I think I can outbrake it or make use of the better brakes than these have, right? The top speed of this is about 205 kilometers per hour as I tested, but how often are you going like that, right? Well, you can, but do you really? Ask yourself. And the bike perfectly stops from these repetitive brakings from the 180, 190, 170 and whatever. And I think if you don't track it, that these brakes won't be enough for you. But this is not a track bike. This is the very sporty, I think, very sporty middleweight bike. Right. Let's get some fresh air in these woods. I don't know how a microphone will capture the sound, but it sounds great, even for a stock exhaust. I think it's one of the better ones you can get. Okay, that's on the topic about the bike. I traveled with this bike for 17,000 kilometers, right? I've been to a few countries. The longest trip was to Berlin, right? So 1,400, 500, maybe 1,500 kilometers. Then it was flawless. But yeah, the cruise control is something I would prefer. And going back, it was even a longer trip. I was not going straight directly. And seating position for my height is perfect, but some neck pain persisted a bit. But I can't argue about the knee position or my sitting position. I think the speeds I was going put a strain on my neck muscles, and that's about it. So I can't really, like saying, the bike is wrong about anything. But there is a little one thing I want to tell you about motorcycle thieves, right? This bike is a stunner and it attracts attention, right? Compared to like Chinese bikes, even the Kawasaki Versys, for example, or Suzuki vstrom, and even the 800, I don't think they look that well like this one, right? People treat it as a sport bike, even though it's a little bit taller, right? So even you take a food or something or a coffee and park it somewhere, you see at them looking at this bike, and it attracts attention. So in one part it's a good thing. In another, I think if I would travel a lot in Europe, or I don't know in the States how the insurance is, I think getting this bike getting stolen in a trip is a lot bigger chance. It looks more expensive than I think it really is, right? And the availability of the parts is another thing. Dealership amount is less than for the Japanese bikes. So if you like traveling in some Balkans or maybe in south of Italy or somewhere, you may struggle finding some of this if you will need something, if you break something, right? And these parts are not that easily interchangeable. And this bike will attract more attention than you would like. Of course, if you want this is great. But if I would have to choose to travel and sleep in a hotel when there is no like indoor parking for this kind of vehicles like bikes, I think I would choose another bike just to sleep calmly, right? And I would leave this bike for myself, like traveling decently shorter amounts, short trips. I don't think I would choose it to go for like 10-20,000 kilometer trips or multi-country trips with a lot of stops or tent camping. That's just my opinion, right? It attracts too much attention. I think even the GS looks uglier in some parts. But yeah, the thieves may know the prices of these vehicles. But this is like a new face of the Triumph, right? These little Tigers and some of their newer vehicles don't look like casual Triumphs or the classic vehicles they were making before. So some Suzukis or Japanese bikes in very, very long ownership types, or some beater bikes, can be better than these guys. If you want to travel, I want to be safer, right? And shortly about off-road capabilities of these bikes, compare them to competition, right? I have ridden the gravel a lot in this, and cleaning some of these parts are difficult. And if you want to make it, I had like one version that Triumph will make 660 off-road version with the different shocks, different wheels, and maybe a different exhaust, right? I don't think this thing is coming because they introduced the low scrambler versions, right? And making this an off-road version would be a bit pain, I think. Not like a good mechanic or so, but you have to change this part to make it stand taller, right? Like a different beak. Change the exhaust. I think the road clearance is a little bit too low for this type of motorcycle if you want to off-road it. And yeah, the exhaust needs to be taller if you want to pass some water crossings. I think it's overall not much aftermarket is, even to this day, is still going to make this into a off-road bike. So treat it as a road bike. I think currently, unless Triumph will make an off-road like a Tiger 660 Rally, for example, that maybe would push people into modifying this base and making it a more off-road capable vehicle. So currently it's just a roadster. Treat it as a Trident, just more comfortable and with a better ergonomics for a longer drive, some wind protection. Wind protection is decent, because if you drive like 130-140 kilometers an hour in some light terrain, usually this will stop you. And the knee position is about right here. This will stop you from getting drenched in the rain. Usually what's wet is my shoulders and my side of the pants, and will be from the splashes my feet can be, depending what you wear. You can be decently okay if you don't stop in the rain, or the rain is not raining from the side to you. And what thing can I say? This is my opinion about my Triumph Tiger 660, and I think if everything will be alright, I will keep making videos and updates about it, and we'll see how much this engine can handle, because it's still a kind of new platform, these 660s, and we will see how Triumph will take care of it. Maybe we'll see newer versions, like currently have a Daytona that revs differently, has different pistons, and maybe this will be a good platform in the future that we will remember, and we'll have some aftermarket support to look after these vehicles. So goodbye, have a nice day, see you around.